Oh, that showed up. I started that a little early. I guess I ought to push that one too.
Yeah, if you're going to record this shit.
This is going well already, let me tell you. If you're on YouTube watching this, this is going really, really, really well at this moment. Oh,
Steve's brand new. He's never done this before.
I just moved all my stuff around. So, part of the problem.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Well, no one can see you right now. It doesn't matter.
See my chin.
Support for this episode of Inside the Natural State is provided by Argenta Nutrition. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Inside the Natural State. I am pushing the wrong buttons over here, having all kinds of fun. Andy's having lots of fun. If you're watching us on YouTube Live right now, this is good stuff. It should be interesting. We'll see how this goes. I got to move the camera. I got too much Andy, not enough me. Now I got too much me, not enough Andy.
Well, I'm a little too big for the camera.
Well, it just doesn't work hardly
Need
at
an
all.
extra wide lens.
We just need a better camera.
Thanks a lot, China.
Yeah, right. So how's it going, man?
Oh, it's going. Busy week.
Yeah,
surprisingly.
That's a good thing, though. Busy weeks are good things.
Ain't a bad thing.
Yeah, so I've been playing with the studio. As you can tell, I've moved a whole bunch of stuff around. So not real sure exactly how this looks on YouTube right now, but since we've got our new show and everything else going on, I'm kind of playing around with how this is going. So it looks like, maybe that's me watching, I don't know. Uh-oh, that's way over there on the other screen. So let's move this back over here. No, we're not moving that over here. I can't see. All right. Anyway, man, so busy week. Yeah?
Yeah, just a little bit.
You still COVID-19 free, right?
As far as I know.
No
I haven't had a swab stuck through the back of my throat yet. So.
No China virus for you right now?
No China. Spray
That's
everybody
good.
with Lysol.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I guess we've been avoiding it. I've been playing the stay-at-home game for what seems like forever now.
You've turned into a teacher.
Dude, I'm losing my ever-loving mind right now. I'm so tired of being at home.
PE class looks like it's going pretty well for you, though.
Yeah, not for me personally. As you can tell, I think I've gained all the I'm gaining plenty of quarantine weight over here.
I gained plenty before. This really didn't help anyway.
This isn't helping me at all. I go to the grocery store the other day and spent like $400 so we could have food for like most of the month. And I think I've eaten most of the snacks and all the crap that I bought. I was like, that was stupid.
Yep.
So I bought egg rolls and all kinds of stuff. I eat like 5 egg rolls for one lunch.
I've yet to kill neighborhood wildlife to eat, so I think we're doing okay.
That's good. So, we haven't gotten that far yet.
No.
Oh man, it's been rough, to be honest. It has for me. You've been working. So yeah. I'll trade you. You come sit here with this 7 and 3-year-old.
I won't have a problem. I have zip ties and duct tape.
Oh man, it only works for so long.
No, it stays there for a while. I had plenty.
It only works for so long.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me get this back over here. I don't know. Look, see, we have one person watching on YouTube.
Hey, look.
I think it's probably me.
It is probably you.
It was probably me from when I had it pulled up.
Steve.
So hey, make us feel better. At least we have one.
Hi.
So,
respond if you know who we are.
Right, yeah. If there's really somebody out there, give us a comment. It'll come up over there. So it's weird, though, because my camera's over there, but I keep wanting to look over here at our screen, the TV screen we have set up, so we can actually see what's going on.
And be like, look here, you moron. So I'm looking at the TV and it's not looking at me. And I'm like, wait a minute.
So again, if you're listening to this on podcast form, on your favorite podcast app, number one, subscribe. like, and share, and leave us a comment so we know what you think about this podcast, and if we should continue doing it, or if you hate it, or if you hate us, and we should do it because of that. I don't know, whatever.
I don't like seeing myself.
I know.
And yet block me out.
And yet you're going to do a live show on Friday with Zach.
But I don't have to see me. Y'all have to see me.
Well, but it's going to show a lot more of you.
Because
their setup is like from like waist up. Ours is.
I'm doing it naked.
I try to hide our fatness as much as I can here.
There's no hiding this.
No, well, that's all good. I swear I heard more music come up.
I heard a kid.
Maybe that's what I'm hearing.
I heard a child holler. I didn't hear that.
Oh, well, that's my children. They yell and holler. So it's been an interesting week in terms of some of the stuff that's come out. But one thing that I wanted to bring up as we get kind of rocking and rolling here. So the question was posed in our group chat the other day by Kevin as far as Musselman's roster management and what he's building and how he continues to kind of change the roster up. And if you're watching, I'm sitting here trying to pull that all up. But basically,
he wants to change like every single season.
Yeah, so basically the question, or what's kind of been brought up, was, Musselman seems to go year by year and assembles a new team, kind of in an NBA-esque way.
I think we need him here for a few more years before we really nail that down. Because, I mean, who paid attention to him at Nevada? That was an Arkansas fan before.
I did.
Well, I mean.
Because I bet on Nevada a lot because they were an easy win.
Other than just watching a couple games and stuff like that, I get it because, I mean, you kind of brought me into it as well, but. With that being said, really didn't pay attention to Nevada's recruiting or how they laid out their roster or how that was done. I haven't, at least. I don't know if you have.
Well, I did. I went back because I got into a conversation with somebody on social media over the weekend that was talking about this and how he sets his teams up. And one thing to keep in mind, so a lot of what spurred this, if you haven't seen it, was a lot of the comments. So I think it's Josh Teeter or something like that on Twitter shared some stuff out about Justice Hill, who was from Little Rock, but Christian, and ended up he came to Arkansas early, was tatted
at Fayetteville to live there apparently.
Yeah, apparently. I don't want to get too. I feel pretty good on the sources that have told me that story that we talked about before, but I don't know how much of it I want to get into. But I mean, it was a weird situation. He got up there, everything that went down after Mike got fired. He hadn't been up there very long, but he never made an impact when he got there. He was never, he never played, and then he transferred to the JUCO out in Utah. That's right, and has since now transferred to Murray State. So.
I think there's a kid named Isaac McBride that might have played at Arkansas had we not had Justice Hill.
Yeah, potentially.
I think I would have taken Isaac McBride over him.
Yeah.
Of course, when you walk into a kid's house and you say, "How's it going, Isaiah?"
Yeah.
Chances are you're not going to get that kid's, "I want to come play for you, coach."
Yeah, if you don't get the guy's name right, I don't think you're winning yourself any recruiting battles there. Oh, so
don't be doing that.
Sorry, I had a burp. It was a burp. I wasn't going to cough on you. But so when you look back at the Nevada situation, he came into what wasn't really a great team. I swear I keep hearing something in the background and it's bothering the crap out of me right now.
I think you're like, I boob.
But anyway, so when you look back at the Nevada situation, Musselman's always been highly active in the transfer portal, and he doesn't really, it's not a big secret that he's highly active in the transfer portal. Everyone's known that's what they want. He likes to have kind of a solid, veteran presence on his teams.
Yeah.
And so that's why he likes to bring in a grad transfer. The other piece of it, and I thought this was interesting, and I'll have this up on the screen if you're watching us on YouTube, but this was a tweet from Kevin Sweeney at College Basketball Central. Something that had been said, interesting transfer related nugget from talking to college coaches. Guys not having to sit out is actually making them less attractive options to a large number of coaches. And in other words, what that means is if a guy has to sit, and if a guy doesn't have to sit, if he's immediately eligible, don't drop the mic.
Mic drop.
So a lot of times these guys, the coaches aren't looking at them as heavily because, as Muss put it, And I remember him saying this in a press conference earlier this year. Basically, he said that having more than 10 guys eligible will always leave 3 to 4 guys unhappy after every game. So what he's saying is if you have your full allotment of 13, well, you got 15 roster spots. So if you've got 14 guys on roster, 13 guys on roster, and a couple of walk-ons, now, or you've got 15 guys on.
I looked at Auburn's roster earlier this year when we played them. I want to say they had 17 or 19 kids.
Yeah, I mean, when you count walk-ons, right? And so the point would be is he wants guys that are sitting, but they're still working with the team. These are guys that know they're not going to play.
Like a Vanover or Note or someone like that this year.
Right, and that's what he wants is guys like that on the lineup and on the roster.
They're ready to go.
Yeah. And so, and you don't have to worry about the unhappiness of, well, I didn't get any playing time because they know their role. They know that they're there to learn, they're there to help, and then their time is coming the following year. So, but if you look back at the history of Musselman and his roster management, he always seems to want to have a couple of upperclassmen that he can use as those leaders, as that veteran presence out there. And so when you look at the class that's coming in and you look at what's happening, go back and look at the Nevada situation. He brought in, I think it was 4 or 5 freshmen his first class. Now, most of those guys didn't make a huge impact because he brought in the 2 twins from NC State. Their name escapes me, but they both were from Oak Hill. I
remember who you're talking about. I just can't remember names.
Caleb and something. But so when you look at the way that roster was made up, and those guys came for 2 years, I believe, and so he brought those guys in. So you look at the makeup of this year's team, and let me pull that up real quick. I should have had that ready. But you look at the makeup of next year's team. When you start looking at the number of underclassmen, you start thinking, okay, Isaiah Joe's going to be a junior. Desi Seals is going to be a junior. So you've got a couple of guys that have they taken on an overall leadership role so far?
I don't think so.
Not that you've seen from them. I mean, Joe really slipped this year. Desi now Desi late in the year started to seem to pull.
Yeah, he had a pretty good little hot streak there.
But the thing about Desi is
we all pray that Mason comes back still.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. But yeah, so look at there, we're getting some help there. Caleb and Cody Martin. There you go. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Caleb. We could have used those comments on the. We could have used those comments on the comments section. So hey, look, we do have 2 people watching. It's just me and
Probably
Caleb.
You and Caleb.
Yeah.
I'm not even watching.
Well, I wouldn't be. So when you look at the way this roster makes up, it's not surprising that Musselman is going after a couple of guys that are older that could come in and be kind of leaders on this team right now.
I mean, you got Vance Jackson coming in.
Right, and that's going to be a senior leader that's going to come in.
Who do you think, other than that, you have that's going to be in?
Well, and I should have probably pulled some of this up. You've got a lot of names out there that are still being floated around for Arkansas. I know they're looking, the kid from the 7'3" guy.
Still?
No, it's a different one this time.
I don't know if I can tolerate having 2 men that are 7'3" on the basketball team.
I have to see if I have this in here, but anyway, I'll have to find it later. But they're on another 7'3" guy, and they've been on a couple of guards. I find it hard to believe that they'd bring
Caleb,
in
can you find those?
Yeah, there you go. Caleb, do our research for us. But so when you look at the way he wants to build this roster long term, I don't think it's a big surprise, that he's doing what he's doing right now. You look at these numbers here, and you start looking at the commits. So Arkansas is bringing in the number at this point, the number 7 class. 4 4-stars. When you drill down into that, we know who those guys are. You got Devo, you got Moses Moody, you got Jalen Williams, and you got KK Robinson. Now, part of what Justice Hill had to say this week whenever he was making his comments was that he believes that one of these guys is not going to end up signing with Arkansas, and that we'll see transfers after this year. So the transfers after this year is not a surprise. I think you have 800 some odd transfers every year. And we're going to talk about this here in a minute too. The NCAA is looking at voting on and putting into place immediately the one-time transfer rule, where you can transfer immediately. And let's see what you got over here, Caleb. It's stuck. I can't move the comment box. Anyway,
it won't come up on your screen.
No, it won't come up on my screen.
It said
Oh.
Purdue.
Yeah, let's just add it to the screen.
It says Purdue.
Yeah, Purdue. There you go. And so, playing with all this. Hey, see, look, Caleb says Purdue. So when you look at the actual these actual the top 10 currently.
Wait a minute. That kid from Purdue, the big white kid that played as a sophomore, is talking about transferring.
I don't think he's a sophomore.
No, he'd be a junior or senior.
He's a grad transfer senior. He'll have a media.
He was a sophomore last year's tournament. He had like a funny hairdo, if I remember right.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yep.
I'm in. I hated him when he was playing. I was like, because I wanted him to lose.
Right.
And I was like, get out of the way. He's like it starts with an H, I think is his last name.
Yeah, that's right. Helm or something like that.
Matt Helms, maybe.
That's it. Yep, you are right on it.
So I know the guy you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
He's a bigger bodied kid too.
Right. So Arkansas is on that too. And so when you start looking at the fact that these guys, they always, transfers is nothing new at this point. I mean, it's just what these guys do. Can
you blame them?
No, we talked about this last week on the Sports Junkies on our new show on Natural State Sports,
which is pretty good, might I add.
I appreciate that. It's a lot of fun. We'll have you on at some point as well. So
yay!
It is a fun show. But we talked about that a little bit last week and had in what the transfer looks like.
Oh, Willie!
Yeah, there you go. We'll throw Will's
Willie
comment up
Watkins.
there. But. So we talked about what that transfer market looks like and what these guys are doing and why they're transferring like they are.
Right.
And it's all about opportunity. It's all about current situation, that you're in, roster management. And you have guys where Muss is really, really good about building this program, building these rosters to fit what he needs each year. It's not so much about a system. It's about building the program around what he thinks he needs and what fits his program. When he came into Arkansas this year, he didn't have
a lot to work with.
No, and you
Not
saw that this year with a 6 or 7 man rotation, whereas I think you're going to see this starting next year to be more of a 9 or 10 man rotation.
If they had 9 or 10, there were several losses that were on that where it would just change. Of course, my opinion, if Isaiah Joe didn't go down, you don't lose 4, maybe 5 of those games that they lost that were close.
Right.
They're not even close.
Right.
I was close.
There it is.
It's not Helms.
Harms. He'd be harming some folks inside for Arkansas.
I don't know how you would operate with that. You give a 7-3 inside and a 7-3 outside. It's like, which one of you can dunk the ball easier?
Could you imagine, what if they threw Jalen in there with that whole setup too? So
the tallest team in college basketball at that point.
It's stupid athletic out of all 3 of them too.
Moody's 6'6". You had Joe at 6'5".
Right.
And then 6'9", 6'10", Jalen Williams with 2 7'3" tall.
Oh, now it moves. There you go.
2 7-3s.
Yeah.
It'd be ridiculous.
I'd be all about it.
Rebound what?
Yeah. So you posed the question before we got started, but going back on what Justice Hill had to say about somebody not signing, who do you think would be that one guy that may not sign?
If I had to lose one, honestly, not to put somebody out on Front Street, but if I lost one, I'd be okay with losing KK of the group. I think Jalen, being that he can shoot the ball from the outside as well as the 6'9", 6'10", 6'11" presence, however tall the kid ends up being by the time he's there, that's you can't replace size. It's just like they say speed kills. You can't coach speed.
Yeah.
Same thing with size for the most part.
Well, you can't coach size. You either have it or you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Outside of girth, where you can add some weight to somebody, but size
Taco fall.
Yeah, height-wise, you can't. You can't coach it. You're either tall or you're not. Will said, "Man, that would be Elite 8 type length and skill when talking about having that many guys that big." And I agree. So to me, KK seems to be the guy that
I think Devo has more of a defensive presence, as well as he's longer than what KK would be. So I prefer to have a guard who's 6'4", as opposed to one that's 6'1". We've already got Desi Sills. He's 6'1", 6 foot tall maybe, but he's built like a bowling ball too.
Right.
I don't think KK's 160 pounds.
Something like he's got to put some weight on, and they'll put some weight on him when he gets here.
And Moody's just Moody. He's a one and done in my opinion too.
Yeah,
so
more than likely.
I think we see him 1 to 2 years maybe, and he's gone. So if I was going to have to kick one out or delete one, it'd be KK Robinson.
Yeah, and again, now let's make
Nothing
sure
against him. I want all 4.
Let's be real. The question is just if one of those guys, if we're believing what Justice Hill has to say right now, which it really just sounds like a lot of salt, whole lot of salt. I wish I had a salt shaker.
Yeah, he might be a bit salty.
There's a lot of salt there. So
Wasn't good enough to play from us.
he must have some of those. What are those stickers on everybody's Salt Life?
He's got 2 of
He's
them.
got, yeah. So, I mean, yes, I would agree.
Murray State and all, but I mean, come on.
When you look at the situation with who you would want, or potentially, or not really who would want to leave, but who would be the most likely, I mean, to me, it would be KK. But the question then is, what's going to change in today's current climate with all the craziness with this COVID-19 crap? What's going to change? They're not
Between
playing
now and the actual signing day, which starts the middle of this week, might we add?
Yeah, they missed the second half, basically the end of the championship level of their season.
Yeah.
I mean,
your last chance to shine was that.
Yeah, I mean,
the All-Star games are all gone because of this.
Well, I know that, like I said, my neighbor Jalen, when he came home, he plays with KK, obviously out at Oak Hill. When he came home, they were supposed to be home for a month for their spring break. Their class schedules are different, so they get a full month for spring break, and then they were going to go back and return and continue play, and then of course summer ball. So
There's no summer ball right now. Period.
No, there will not be. So when you look at it, the NCAA has extended the time frame to sign to August 1st. I still don't think that changes anything. So it starts April 15th for basketball. It runs through August 1st. But I don't see how that changes anything. I don't see how
these kids on campus as soon as possible.
Well, but also I just don't see any way that KK finds another option between now and then. Devo's already signed, so we don't have to worry about that. And when you break it down as to who you want in there and you don't want in there, when you start thinking about Jalen Williams, obviously you can't miss there just because of the need size-wise, no matter if you get a guy like Matt Harms.
You gotta have him.
Yeah. And then, of course, Moses Mooney is a guy you can't lose.
You can't lose that one, that's for sure.
So, I mean, you don't want to lose any of them.
Repeat what you're saying, but you're stealing the words before I say them. Thank you.
Well, you don't want to lose any of them, but I guess KK would be the most likely. So
that kid's good on both sides of the ball, too, though. So, like I said, if I could have all four, I want to be greedy. I want all four of them. Heck, like I said, I'd still like to have Chris Moore that committed to Auburn. I think if we could have had all five of those guys, Auburn wouldn't have been right behind us. They'd have been a couple spots down because we would have been a couple spots up as well.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So, screw you, Bruce Pearl.
Yeah, well, he had a little longer to recruit on that deal.
Probably so.
So,
we wish, like I said, we don't wish any of these guys anything bad. We want all of them to succeed with everything we say these things, but.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Even Justice Hill, I want to see the kid do well for himself. But
yeah, just stop being so salty.
If you're going to get out there and put your name out there for what you're saying, then, well, expect to catch some salt back thrown at you.
It's going to come. It's going to happen. There's no doubt about it. So, I mean, back to the point, and finishing up on that point, I mean, I don't see Musselman being a guy that's going to retool his roster every year. I think once he gets into a rhythm here, there's so much talent coming out of the state. You and I were talking about Darian Ford coming out.
Yeah.
Some of these other guys that are coming out of the state over the next couple of years, there's a ton of
pretty good talent pool coming out with the next few.
Yeah. So
like I said, I think it's going to take a little longer to kind of catch I guess you could say kind of a muss way of doing things. I mean, we literally had him for like a year total now, maybe a little over a year, and that's it. So,
yeah, and look, we got 3 people watching now. I don't know who the third one is.
Why does it say finish?
It's click that to finish.
Oh,
you don't want me to click it yet. We'd go bye. We'd still be. It's a good. Hey, I'll tell you one thing. It's a good thing I hit this red record button over here.
You forgot to start.
Well, I did forget to start, but that's okay. That's just the YouTube side. But literally, this is just me trying to learn all this new software that I'm messing with and having everything moved around. But the funny thing is so I'm doing the Sports Junkies the other night, and I'm about halfway through it, and out of the corner of my eye, that's blue, and I'm like, that's not supposed to be blue. That should be red. I'd left the memory card in the computer, and thankfully everything just records straight to the computer. But Will had to pull all that. Not the Sports Junkies. It was Around the Diamond with
no.
Yeah, while we had Bubba Carpenter on. So
idiot.
Yeah. So yeah. By the way, if you missed that,
Bing.
Hey, don't worry about our squirrels. Don't just hush. We
Look,
have plenty of squirrels. There's not
enough
enough to talk
with
about.
Squirrel on Friday, okay?
There's the perfect opportunity to plug it.
Yeah. Friday, live show, Facebook, Inside the Natural State. I will be co-hosting with our good buddy Zach for the first time ever.
It should
Bear
be
with
interesting.
me because I don't think this poker face will be that great, but I'm going to have to learn. So If I push him off his stool, you'll know why.
So just make sure that you subscribe, that you like the Natural State Sports page, and then you subscribe for live notifications so you don't miss that. A couple other things I wanted to...
It's going to be a fiasco.
Should be interesting. Couple of other things.
Care for a bet?
I don't know that I want to mess with that one or not.
Who has more followers or views this week?
Should be. Hey.
Hey, for horses.
We'll get there. We'll get there. I'm trying to find this. I don't know where all my stuff went. This is great radio.
You're not supposed to be touching my face right now.
Don't touch your face. Don't do it.
What are you looking for?
Well, I was looking for some stuff that I had pulled up earlier, but you can tell how greatly prepared
good
I
job,
am at this
genius.
point. So,
All
anyway,
my stuff's ready. It's right here.
I know it. I don't know what I did with mine. So anyway, back to what I was going to get into. So the NCAA this week plans to, or they plan to vote on, or talk about and vote on the new one-time transfer rule. So what is your thoughts on this? Basically, if you're a first-time transfer, you have no restrictions.
You don't have to sit out. Don't have to
no sit out. Yeah.
I mean, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, truthfully, in my opinion, it's great for the kid that that wants to go out and play, but at the same time, as I've always thought, with any of the transfer rules and stuff, it's kind of well, you made the decision to go here, but now you're backtracking on what you originally committed to, and so I mean, you losing a year of eligibility is kind of your punishment for not making the decision the right way. Maybe I mean,
Right.
It's just different ways of looking at it. So, it's good and it's bad. For the kids, obviously, it'll be great. They can jump in there and play, and you're going to see probably more than the usual amount, and might see some later ones if they can enter. I don't even know if that's possible. After it being worded up, I don't know if there's a date that you have to be in the portal by. Well, heck, Starkle last year, he entered way late.
Right. Well, and he came in as a grad transfer. And it wasn't so much that he came in late. He entered but couldn't. He had to finish out the semester before he could transfer. So,
okay, that's what it was.
But this would also apply to a freshman that didn't like his playing time at Arkansas and now
or
can
a coaching
transfer.
Change.
Yeah, I mean anything at this point.
I like that. As far as the coaching change thing, I mean, you go to a certain school regardless of the sport, and the coach gets changed. I mean, you might not necessarily want to be there with that. You could have had a great relationship with that coach.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's necessarily right, for you to have to wait, if that's the case. But that's just how the rules are.
Yeah, and to me, that's the frustrating part. You know what I figured out what that sound I was hearing in the background was?
Was it?
It was YouTube being up in the background.
Stupid dummy.
It was only on my phone. That's why I could hear. It's a good thing I disconnected from the Bluetooth over here. So you guys are getting a true behind-the-scenes look at all the screw-ups that we have going on from time to time.
It's a weird pod. But you know what? There's no sport, so we can just go along as we want.
That's right. So we're just throwing things at the wall to see how they
flute
stick.
Music. I'm going to go get a guitar here in a few and learn how to play with it.
No, don't do that.
Good. I'm left-handed.
Let's not do that. We have a guitar here somewhere.
Well, I can't play it.
Yeah,
I can promise you
probably
that.
not. So the other thing that they're going to take up, so they're taking up the one-time transfer. Hey, I found the story finally. I forgot that I texted it to you. So there are currently 746 Division I men's basketball players in the transfer portal. Only 181 of them are grad transfers. So that means there's 565 players that are in the transfer portal that this rule could potentially specifically impact. Yeah. If they're one-time transfers. So these are guys that would potentially have to sit out like a JD Notte, Connor Vanover, in those situations where they would be able to come in, of course, a year too late and be able to play immediately. What a difference it could have made.
I think we got robbed on that one anyway, but it is what it is. They'll get the wrath of the big white boy next year.
Yeah, so to your point, and this was one of the questions, so if this passes, the vote is going to happen in May, and it will go into effect this year, immediately. Mm-hmm. So you're talking about the potential of a huge influx of first-time transfers of guys that are
might see even more hit it by that point. The bad thing is you got so many of them that are going to be dropped out or already picked up. I might not have a roster spot for you. But,
yeah.
If you wait, might be good for the team if that's the case.
Possibly. Again,
be bad too.
It's such a weird time right now that who knows what's going to happen with the way that's going to work out. Because, again, you can't visit. Now, things may lax over the next couple of months to where we can start visiting him, but we don't really know that either. So who knows? That to me, so my opinion on that is I'm not crazy about it. You know, I like the idea in certain circumstances, but the problem is the NCAA can't ever seem to figure out how to get out of their own dadgum way,
Nope.
and just come up with a just a set of rules. So, you know, if a guy just didn't like how much playing time he's getting, I don't know that
Play
guy
harder, practice harder.
Yeah, I don't know that guy should just be able to dip and go play wherever he wants. And so I don't like it from that aspect. I do like it like if there's a coaching change and there's no ambiguity to it. You either, so like the Connor Vanover situation, if he transfers in that situation, they had a coaching change, which I know it was technically after, but they had a coaching change. He had a sick relative that he was coming to be closer to. He had all the reasons to be able to be approved for it. And in those circumstances, I think they should. The problem is the NCAA doesn't have any solid set of rules that says this is what you can and can't. So now they're just going to make it open to anybody. So anybody that's eligible to be able to transfer, you know, if you've never tried to transfer before, you can go wherever you want. So I'm torn on this rule. I like it to a point because it does give kids an opportunity where maybe they get to somewhere, you know, I mean, use Justice Hill as an example. You know, you get somewhere you get somewhere where you think you're going to have a great opportunity. You wind up, maybe not. Maybe a guy that is a little better than you. And think about this. Mason Jones is a guy that, you know, he comes in here and nobody really expected what we got out of Mason this year. So what if you're a guy that's sitting behind Mason and you see what Mason comes in here and does, but he's going to be here another year. So, and we know Mason's leaving, but he's going to be here another year. Now you were recruited to come take his position, but he stays a year. Now you have an opportunity to go somewhere else. I'm not 100% against that aspect of the rule.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm good with it to an extent. I just think that it could become college athletics free agency to an extent. I mean, you're talking about
figure out who wants to pay the most for the kid to come play.
Yeah, and then when you think about it, the second part of what they're going to take into when they do this, when they have these meetings, is going to be the pay to play rule. So
I don't know.
Yeah, so now it will be the model is more of a pay for you can get paid for your likeness, I believe, is the direction that they're going to go with it. Well, I know
you say we might see NCAA 2021.
Yeah, we should have. It is open to be able to happen now.
If it happens, I'm buying a PS4, PS5, or
whatever's out,
just to have that game. That's the only game I'll buy. Maybe Call of Duty.
So if EA Sports is smart, because you know that's who's going to do it. If EA Sports is smart about it, they will team up with Xbox, with Microsoft, and with PlayStation, and use the release of that with the game, because you know how many people are going to buy that game.
Oh yeah.
So when that game comes out, if you include that at the same time as those new systems coming out,
video game sale,
dude, it'd be nuts. Yeah, it'd be nuts. So
I haven't bought I seriously have not bought a video game since that.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I don't need it.
No,
I'm good.
I haven't either.
I'll play on my phone.
So they expect to be able to hold a vote in January 2021 on that legislation. They're trying to put all of the different pathways into place to make that work. NAI has already passed kind of a rule for this to where NAI players can be paid for their likeness. I think it's interesting. I think it's going to create some unique problems for the NCAA.
Oh, it'll be a whole new host of problems.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, now you go from having
how do you pay them? What do you pay them?
Yeah, well, and it's going to be up to it's not the NCAA, because this is a pay for your likeness. So in other words, if I want to go down to Big Jake's Tires and say, hey, I want to be your cover athlete and talk about tires and stuff for you, and so
it's advertising.
Yeah, so it's advertising, but that's what they're going to be allowed to do now, and that's how they're going to be able to make money off their likeness. And so at the end of the day, it's going to be who's going to be who's going to be able to get the most. Obviously, your quarterbacks, your running backs, your skill players, the poor linemen. Hopefully, they can get some buffet deals or something.
Yes.
But so it's going to be interesting to see how that whole thing kind of plays itself out.
Eat with the whole line.
That would be fantastic.
You can come on over here to the catfish hole. Get you some of this buffet, these hog mollies.
Oh, man, that would be fantastic. Oh, well, I think that should just about do it for segment one. We're trying to break this out.
Well, no, Adios.
So hang out, bear with us a little bit. We are playing with some different things. We're using this time of no sports to kind of play with our formats. And
you're going to learn today.
Yeah. So this may be a little choppy. This may be a little messed up. It might be fun to watch on YouTube.
Maybe about it. I'm watching myself on a screen looking dumb as hell.
Which is throwing you off completely every time. Yep. I know that's what's throwing me off. I'm like, I got so many different things to do.
There's too many things to do with my hands.
Right. I know. I'm trying to keep mine down here. Don't worry. I'm not playing with myself. I promise. But I'm also not going to be up here like Zach going, like I'm landing an airplane or something. Oh, if you guys aren't watching the YouTube channel, you probably should. Oh, man. All right. When we get back, we will hit a little bit of NFL draft and some other randomness. Who knows what we're going to talk about when we come back.
Flip a coin.
That's right. We'll be back.
2 and 2.
Let's turn that on. Welcome back, everybody. This is a lot of comedy going on over here.
Speeding with the brakes on.
I'm telling you. Hey, so Will and I were talking about this the other night after the Sports Junkie show, and I was like, he's like, yeah, it's not as easy as it looks. Is it? I'm like, well, the problem is I only have so many hands.
You need 4.
So I'm like trying to click things all over the place. So I'm still working on trying to figure out how to get all that worked out. I don't know what Will said over here. What was his? Let's see. Oh, he didn't like the way we ended that segment, I guess. Oh, well. Get over yourself.
Get a donut.
Okay. Then come here, and you can run the boards while we just talk. How about that, Will? You want to do that?
We got a nice, big, comfy chair for you.
That's right. Right over there on the other side of that computer. But you never come here anymore. Now you blame COVID-19. I don't think that's the problem.
Let's see what you do when you want tires.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Jeez. I'm afraid of what this picture is. I'm not going to bring it up.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. So I'm not going to do it. Oh, man. Well, we're back.
You might want to proofread that picture before you open it.
I'm not going to even open it. I'm not going to mess with it because I don't know what it is.
Is it on the pod?
Hmm?
Is it on the page?
No. I don't know. Okay, so
I don't have it.
Yeah.
I see how it is.
No, I don't know. I don't remember what that was. What was that? Oh, boy. What's Will got to say now? Let's see. The playing with. Well, you'll be all right.
Well, that's interesting.
Oh, man. Good stuff. I'm the problem. I see how it is. It's all good, Will. That's okay. We'll deal with this later. We'll deal with this later. So, some interesting NFL stuff came out. I mean, trust me, dude, we're digging. We're stretching, trying to find stuff.
I think there's a certain thing in Florida that we need to address first.
Oh. Wait, which one? You want to talk about
Tampa Brady?
Tampa Brady?
No. Tampa Bay?
Tampa Bay.
Or Tampa Brady?
Yes. Oh, my gosh. So Tom Brady has... Tom Brady is basically...
Those are my words. You can't have them. Come on, man.
So, yeah, I mean, he's filed for copyrights or whatever for both of those.
Copyright of Giselle.
Mm-hmm. Well, he did that a few years ago. So,
probably.
Yeah. But so...
She's mine. You can't have her either.
So I thought that was an interesting little tidbit there. I don't even know where that story went. Let's see if I can find it again.
No, you can't.
Just you want to bet?
Shoot from the hip.
You want to bet?
Dillweed.
Okay, I'm shooting from the hip because I did lose it. So anyway, it doesn't matter. Tom Brady's like applying for some stuff so he could sell more stuff and be Tampa Brady or Tampa Bay or whatever it is. So good for Tom Brady. Go make $100 million this year. I really don't care. So it'd be nice if you'd share a little bit with us.
Sponsorship for this episode of Inside the Natural State. It's sponsored
Tampa
by
Bay.
TB12. Tampa Brady. I'd Tampa Bay.
For the right amount of money, I'd wear a Tampa Bay shirt.
Yeah, I think I would too.
I mean,
At least $16.
I wore an LSU shirt one time just because I told the guy that if he bought a house from me, I'd wear an LSU shirt at closing, and so I did. I mean,
ain't hurt nothing.
You got to do what you got to do. Unfortunately,
is it purple or white or
it's
yellow?
Purple, and there's a picture of me wearing it. Unfortunately,
I have one that says LS Who.
I have one that on the front says LSU blows, and on the back it says Les Miles does something else. Oh wait, we're an explicit podcast now.
You can actually say that.
I can actually say that just because if I say damn, we got to put an E on it. Oh, there's our first E of the day.
Damn it,
my
Steve.
bad. So Todd Gurley got traded to the Rams, signed with the Rams, I guess, not traded.
Yeah,
so
he
got dumped and then signed.
We don't need you anymore. You're damaged goods.
So he ends up at Atlanta, and interestingly enough, he comes out. Now, the dude has worn a couple of different numbers in his career.
3 in college, if I remember.
Yeah, 3 in college. What was he, 30, that's right.
30 with the Rams.
Yeah, and so he can't wear 3 in the NFL because the rule states it has to be between the numbers 20 and 49 for a running back.
Yep.
So what number does he decide to go with?
1 and 19 of quarterbacks.
Yes.
Prime time.
So he goes with prime time's number 21.
And it's not prime time's number.
And Desmond Trufant wore it, for 7 years before he was released by the Falcons. So, yeah. But when you look at, when Sanders, or he asked if Sanders had objected, or was asked if Sanders said anything, he said, well, because it's prime. And if I was prime, I wouldn't want nobody wearing my number either. So basically,
it's only a certain amount of numbers out there, bud.
Right, yeah. And the Falcons actually don't retire numbers. They do have a Ring of Honor, but they don't actually get retire numbers. So it can be worn. He Gurley come out and say, you know what, I don't care what you say. I'm going to wear what I want to wear.
My hair's better than yours. Leave me alone.
Yeah, right. So I thought that was interesting. I mean, I don't really care what number he wears.
He's a Georgia kid, so let him have it.
Just do well.
Don't fake a knee injury.
If I take you on my fantasy team, you better actually do something.
They set up pretty good.
They should be good. I mean, as long
I like the new uniforms too. I think they look pretty cool.
I do too. Black. Everybody else hates them. I think they're awesome.
I think the blocking numbers and everything, they look pretty cool.
Yeah, and then Will, him and I got it. He was like, ATL, that's just stupid. I'm like, that's what 99% of the people that live in Atlanta refer to Atlanta as, is the ATL. So you're marketing to your city, you're marketing to where you play, and so it makes sense that you're going to market in a way that they're used to seeing.
If they like it and what it looks like, you're going to sell it.
Yeah. Yep. So let's talk a little bit about the NFL. We talked a little bit on the Sports Junkies, and if you missed that show, I'm going to give a shameless plug. That show's every Thursday night live. Justin, one of our content writers at Natural State Sports, and myself.
He's got a big head on camera.
Does he? Well, we got to work on
almost big as yours.
Audio. I got a big head. I like my big head.
I got a big, I got a melon.
Well, I'm surprised we can get both our heads in the screen, to be honest.
Lean this way, lean the other way.
That's right.
Hey, look, get my ear.
I'm telling you, man, this is gold on YouTube.
ADD,
gold, right?
At its finest.
But
you want a milkshake later?
Hey, ooh, that does sound good.
Yeah.
Squirrel. So
I'm going to Sonic.
Hey, while you're there, see if we can get an advertising deal with them.
Hey.
So
you want to give us free food?
So wanted to talk a little bit about the NFL draft, and I swear I have some stuff ready over here. Honestly, I'm not real sure what this is about to pop up on the screen. Nope,
No,
that's for later.
it's the wrong thing.
That's for later. I don't have it in here anymore. Oh well. Anyway, whatever. We'll get over to our NFL draft stuff over y'all.
So, because we don't want to share information that you have to pay for, we had to dig a little more to find a little more on the NFL draft or a mock draft.
Well, and not so much. I just don't want to dig too much into some of this stuff.
No, it's not worth it. I hate to say not worth it, but it's not worth it. There's other things out there that we can use for sure.
Yeah, and now I can't even find that article. Man, we're doing good.
You're terrible.
We're doing really, really, really good tonight. Here it is.
Man,
I got it.
I'm quitting.
No, you're not.
I'd rather find a co-host.
Okay.
Call Wes.
You can go be with Zach.
I'm doing that anyway.
I know. Okay, so this was This was Todd McShay's post free agency predictions for rounds 1 and 2. This is from March 30th, so a little old, a few days old, but not too bad.
I scrolled down there pretty far. I think you might be a little bit happy with who your team might pick up.
The fact that we finally have a first round pick makes me happy.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, we
We had one last year too.
Yeah, we didn't do bad with that one. So of course they got the Bengals going. Joe Burrow, number 1.
He's a Bengal for life.
What do you think about that? Think he's going to succeed there?
It's hard to succeed in Cincinnati, but the kid's got a big physical size. He's actually got some wheels too. I don't know if they're NFL wheels, but I think he's got all the tools to have a good game for sure.
Yeah, I think he'll do well. The question is what will Cincinnati do to protect him? I mean, they've at least got they've at least got some skill guys. When you think they've still got AJ Green,
they didn't even have their first round pick from Alabama last year.
Right.
Jonah Williams,
yeah,
missed the whole season, and that was huge to them. He's got a great running back in the backfield behind him. I think Mixon is probably one of the better backs in the NFL. When you can actually pass the ball. I mean, you look at what Cincinnati didn't have last year. I mean, you didn't have your big hot rod receiver, A.J. Green. You didn't have I believe Jonah Williams a left tackle too.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't have your first round pick that would have started at left tackle for you. That's a huge position. You can't just go out there and be like, oh, I'm just going to throw it at the wall and see if it sticks,
So the question
that'd be a lot better, I think, with a good solid quarterback. It might take him several games, but I mean, what do you expect?
But so the question that I have on Burrow though is Burrow really the real deal? I mean, let's look at what he at Ohio State.
He
couldn't
real
flourish
deal his junior year.
See, but he wasn't all that great his junior year.
He was good enough to see it. I really thought he was going to have a good year this year, and I was right.
Yeah,
so
he did have a huge year. I mean, it's so obviously huge year. Moved him all the way up to the number 1 pick, probably. And so,
one pick. There's no way there's not.
I'm curious to see how that plays out. I don't know that I'm sold on Burrow. Maybe it's just my hate for LSU, but I don't know that I'm sold on Burrow.
No, I appreciate good athletic ability.
I do
think
too,
the kid's
but
got it.
He's got something. Now we'll see if it translates to the NFL. So
I mean, him or the Red Rocket? Who do you choose?
Oh well, I mean that's an easy. That's
come
an easy
on,
choice.
there you go.
Yeah, I mean I'm talking about long-term success.
If we're talking hairdos, the Red Rocket wins. That dude can pull his helmet off and his hair stays perfect under it no matter what. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's like a wig.
I was trying to find this.
Move on to the second pick.
No, this is what I want to see right here. So ESPN Stats and Info put out a deal, player projections for first round quarterbacks, and the odds of them being Pro Bowl caliber. Who do you think they had number 1 to be?
Tua.
23% Pro Bowl caliber, 66% consistent starter. Joe Burrow, number 2 on this list, 15% Pro Bowl calendar, 57% consistent starter. So we'll get to Tua here in just a minute.
I hated watching that kid go down, especially experiencing what he actually had happen.
Right.
That is not fun.
Yeah, it's rough.
I've had that exact same, well, not in the same way or same, setup, but I've had that problem. So it is
not a fun recovery.
No.
So interesting there. I mean, Jordan Love, Justin Aber round out the top 4 of what they believe. Top 4 quarterbacks as far as projections. This won't get out of
Herbert or Hebert or whatever his name
is.
Aber.
So number 2, they have Chase Young, defensive end, Ohio State, headed to the Washington
Redskins.
Redskins.
Also known as Predator.
Yeah, I think Chase Young
Kid's a freak.
should be the number 1 pick when you start thinking about needs and what a team's gonna a guy's long shelf
needs
life.
a quarterback.
They do need a quarterback, but I still think that Chase Young is a guy.
Redskins have Dwayne Haskins.
They need a quarterback too. So
you just put Haskins back with Chase Young though.
Oh Lordy. So I like Chase Young a lot. I don't know how you can't like Chase Young. He's going to be special. I do think in this draft he's going to be one of those guys that we're going to hear about for a long time.
Bosa.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah, he's going to be heard from for a long time. Detroit Lions, our good buddy Trent Talbert out there. They got the number 3 pick. Jeff Okudah, cornerback out of the Ohio State.
Yeah, that's 2 back-to-back picks.
Yeah, so
and then the what could have been at the 4 pick.
This
Thanks a lot, Bert.
Saddens me.
Thanks a lot, Bert. I don't know where to put you, so we're just not even going to offer you anything. But you'll be the number 4 pick in the NFL draft this year.
Wait a minute, where did Bert end up?
Is he with New York now?
Isn't he with the Giants?
I would still kick him in the shin.
Oh, I got to look this up now. This is gonna bug me.
Why don't you just?
If one of y'all know, let me know. But I swear, isn't that where he ended up? I'm gonna look it up.
Was it there, Detroit?
Breton Bielema. Let's see.
Bielema.
Let's see. Coaching. Yes, he is with the Giants. That's what I thought.
No.
You talk about coming full circle, man.
This was my plan all along, I swear.
If Isaiah Simmons ends up playing for Brett Bielema, could you imagine what Isaiah Simmons, what's the first thing, if you're Isaiah Simmons and you walk in that office and you see Fat Bert sitting there and you're like, what's the first thing you say? I'd be like, hey, Bert. Yeah, right. Hey, Bert, I told management I don't think we know where to put you. Maybe we should just put you on the street. That's what I'd say to him. Like,
something be like,
go serve hot dogs.
You a coaching contract. Go drink a bottle of whiskey.
That's wild, man. If that ends up happening, dude, that's some crazy.
No, Bert will probably be in there. I don't know where to put him on defense, so I don't think we should draft him.
I don't think we should draft him. What is
Just
his?
pass on him.
No way. And he's going to be the outside linebackers coach.
This gets even better. Surprise!
How does his big ass coach linebackers? Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I think he was pretty fit when he was
at Wisconsin. He was.
Yeah, he was leaned out pretty
early
good,
on. Then he met his wife and he got big.
Built like me.
He's lost a little bit of weight since.
I need to lose a little bit of weight too. I'm looking like 900 pounds on camera.
So at 5, the Miami Dolphins.
To a T.
Tua Tagovailoa. Quarterback from Alabama. Obviously, we know the
Alabama,
issues.
Hawaii.
Yeah. Obviously, we know the issues in terms of
that kid's
injuries. So
that kid'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't think he's
that injury is 3 to 6 months and back to ready to rock.
Well, so what about did you read much into the wrist stuff that came out? Let me see if there's anything.
It's a freak
here.
how it happened anyway. Like I said, you fall literally had to fall just right for that to happen. Of course, it is. It is an injury in sports. It happens.
Yeah.
Stranger things have happened than that. He dislocated his left eyeball.
That'd be rough.
Popped out of socket. We put it back in and go play.
So they got Jordan Love, quarterback from Utah State. That's your low major guy that's showing up, non-Power 5 guy.
That's your Daniel Jones this year.
Yes. Everybody seems to be falling in love with him. And you think about, could you imagine? I mean, Justin Hebert was set to come out last year
top 5.
Was a top 5. And at this point, I'm not seeing him.
He's top 10.
Number 9 to the Jaguars. Man, how many quarterbacks the Jags going to go through?
I don't know.
I'm going to get down here
going over to be the London Jaguars.
Yeah. I'm going to go down a couple here. Las Vegas Raiders, CeeDee Lamb. I like that pick.
Yeah. I like CeeDee Lamb. He's a little bit bigger than what old Marquise Brown was last year with Oklahoma, and the boy's got some pretty good hands on him, and he can run. So
he'll look good running around in that new Roomba arena they got over there.
Yeah,
did you see that?
Bad.
It looks like somebody. Was it neighbors? Somebody here locally put on Twitter said does anybody notice that this thing looks like a Roomba vacuum from one side? But the other one, Henry Ruggs III to my Niners. I'm all about that pick.
A lot of speed.
That's big time. The Niners need a receiver, something bad. So I'm all about that one.
What was the kid that got out of South Carolina last year? Starts with a D.
Debo,
yeah.
And actually,
Samuel.
When you look at the wide receiver projections, they actually have Henry Ruggs rated the highest, 48% chance to become Pro Bowl caliber, 89% chance to be a consistent starter.
Because he can blow the top off the coverage.
Yeah, I'm all about that. I think teaming him with Kittle and Jimmy G and then Debo on the other side.
That's a lot of speed.
That's a lot of speed.
They lost Emmanuel Sanders. So
they did. That hurts.
That's a lot of age and experience out there. But, if they pick up a Henry Ruggs, I think Judy will already be off the board by then. I think they had him at like 7 or 8 maybe.
Yeah.
So,
Are your Steelers not picking in the first round?
No, we traded ours for Minka Fitzpatrick.
That's right.
Minka!
That's right.
Gotta love him.
Also got the Niners taking.
Just fine. So Miami got our pick. I think it's like the 18th pick. And guess who they're taking? Supposedly going to take another safety from Alabama.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm getting
Xavier.
Xavier McKinney. Yeah. He was something else to watch too, man.
Yeah, he lays a little bit of leather out there.
Just gonna go look at this second round.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you there are 6 first-round projected picks from the University of Alabama.
Yeah, you were saying, what was those? Those were some crazy
15
numbers.
total picks that are projected in the first 32 are SEC kids. And I think, was it maybe 24 of the top 64 off the top of my head that were first 2 rounds.
Golly.
Alabama's got 7 of those in the first 2 rounds.
That's wild, man. So a guy that, and this is kind of off the cuff a little bit, but there's been a lot of talk about where McTelvin Agim may end up landing. So
I hadn't even gone that far down the board.
But so here's the thing. It seems like as of lately, he's started to get a lot of love and a lot of interest from teams. He could sneak in as high as the 3rd round, I think.
Really?
Yeah. He's had the most calls for meetings and for interviews with teams. He seems to be making the rounds more than anybody else. He is being looked at as a Pro Bowl caliber type three technique guy, which
good for him.
Built up and coached up, he absolutely should be. The one thing that could you imagine his speed and athleticism? Again, we talk about.
Could you imagine that had he played at the University of Alabama under the same coaching group, for 4 years?
Yeah, absolutely.
He probably would have left as a junior,
without a doubt. And so
the kid's got it.
He does.
He's got the intangibles of what it needs. He's got the size. I mean, the quickness. I mean, obviously he's not as fast as he was in high school. Of course, he's, I think, 35 pounds heavier than what he played high school ball at.
Yeah, but still a 3 technique guy that's going to run a sub 5. I mean, what did he run? A 4? I don't remember what he ran. 4.8, 4.7, somewhere in there.
Supposedly ran a 4.6 40 in high school.
But I mean, a 3 technique guy running that quick, that's a lot of athleticism in the middle of your defensive line.
That's a lot of meat. That's what that is.
That to me, that could be huge in terms of how or where he ends up landing, because I think he's got a great opportunity to really step up and end up in that 3rd round.
I hope
range.
he does.
So,
I still want to see Scooter get drafted too, but I don't think it'll happen.
I think he will. He may end up being like a
flash
6 or 7 guy. We'll
O'Grady.
See. Yeah,
I think O'Grady will find a team somewhere, guaranteed.
Oh yeah. Cam Curl's another guy. We'll be interested to see where he lands.
That's my dude, though.
Seen him in the late round, so hopefully he gets his shot as well. So on to some weird and different stuff that we normally wouldn't. I got bored today and started looking through some different things, and so found this interesting. And anybody that follows ESPN probably saw this story, or I think it made its rounds. But on Saturday, so we have nothing better to do right now, sports-wise. Like betting-wise, everything is shut down. Everything, you have no sports to bet on.
Las Vegas hates us.
And so we can't bet on anything except horse racing. So this guy at, I believe this was Gulfstream. I don't remember. One of those. I'll tell you in a minute when I get to the story.
When you find it.
So I got the story here. He won the early pick 5. He bet 50 cents on a pick 5, which means that of the 13 race program, he had to get the winner of the first 5 races correct. The winner.
I've done that before. Just didn't plan them out that way.
He turned 50 cents into $524,966.50.
Plus tax.
5th highest for a pick 5 in U.S. horse racing history, and 3rd highest for a non-jackpot.
I turned $2.40 into about $100 one time.
So the winning horses for the first 5 races were number 8, Freddie Soto, number 4, Union Lane, number 1, He's a Babe, number 3, I'm Not Enzo Express, and number 6, La Shara. Freddie Soto, now this is what makes this so impressive, obviously why he won so much money, but Freddie Soto,
is it like 100 to 1 odds?
73 to 1 odds, had beaten a total of 5 horses in his previous 3 races prior to Saturday's victory.
Must have had a bunch of slow horses out there.
Number 4, Union Lane, had finished in front of 11 total horses in her previous 7 races. God. I mean, how much luck do you have to come across or to hit all of those?
That man should take $500,000 and go buy $500,000 worth of lottery tickets.
As long as you don't buy $500,000 worth of toilet paper, we're all good.
Hey, I've got toilet paper. I'm not worried.
I do too. We're fine. And I found paper towels the other day. We were actually starting to run low on those. Yeah. So tonight, actually, oh shoot, that's going on right now. I should turn that on.
What did we miss?
We're missing the NBA Horse Challenge.
Boo. Get a remote.
It's up there.
Well, I can't get it.
I can't get it either.
Handicraft.
It's way up there. Well, this is the bracket. And
put it on your computer.
This is, we could probably. That's a lot of work, though. This is already going on, so our predictions may be wrong already, but
we're going to try.
So we're going to go through the quarterfinals here real quick.
Quickly.
Trae Young, Chauncey Billups, who you got?
I'm taking Trae Young.
Me too, Trae Young. Tamika Catchings, Mike Conley, who you got?
I'm taking Mike Conley.
I'm going to take Mike Conley, too. Initially, I was going with Tamika. I know, but I'm changing my mind. I'm going with Conley. Zach LaVine or Paul Pierce?
Paul Pierce.
I'm taking LaVine.
Got to have the truth.
Yeah, I'm taking LaVine.
Old man is taking it.
Chris Paul or Allie Quigley?
I'm going to take Allie Quigley.
Man, you're killing me. I was going to throw Allie Quigley. I'm going
Nope,
to take
you
Allie
can't have
Quigley.
that one.
Yes, I do. I
Well,
want
in
that
that
one.
case, for just the sake of argument, I'll take Chris Paul.
All right, fine. So, all right. So that brings, so for me, well, I guess really we're the same except for that one. So Trae Young or Mike Conley.
Trae Young.
Okay. And now the finals, so the quarterfinals will be played by the time you hear this, so we'll know. And then the semifinals and final will be Thursday night. And basically, it's just a competition of horse where the players were live streamed from their homes on their personal courts by themselves taking shots, and then the other person has to obviously answer it. You should know how horse is played. If you don't, Google it. I'm not telling you. Zach LaVine. Wait, I got it. So Zach LaVine
Gets out
or
there and does
Quigley.
some crazy dunks. Paul Pierce will lose.
Yeah. Well, so so in my semifinal matchup, I got LaVine and Quigley, and I'm going to take Allie Quigley to go to the final there.
Well, I'm going to take
Paul Pierce or Chris Paul? Who you got?
Take Paul Pierce, obviously, over LaVine. And, because I picked Allie Quigley and only picked Chris Paul for the sake of argument, I've got to pick Paul Pierce.
All right. So you got Paul Pierce and Trae Young in the final. What you got? Trae Young. And I've
Trae's
got.
a man. That dude's a freak.
I got Trae and Allie Quigley.
I was going to try to get over to Memphis when the Hawks played the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Just to watch Trae Young play.
Yeah.
That dude's a stud. Well, Vince Carter too.
So. Right. So let's.
Old man didn't even get a proper out. He might come back for a 24th season.
Man, them storms got here quick. We already got a severe thunderstorm warning. So I'm going to take Trae Young to win the whole thing as well. No, not yet. I wonder what it looks like on the radar. Anyway.
I'll drive in it. I'll be okay.
Oh, I hope so. I hope you can drive in it. It's not that bad. Other than the big hailstones that are going to go through your windshield.
We got liability. Leave me alone.
Hey, but our friends at Arkansas Car Clinic can fix that windshield if it gets shattered.
They can. Mike's a good guy.
That's right. They will take care of it.
I actually deal with him at Big Jake's from time to time.
There's going to be some nasty wind out of these storms.
Yep. I'm going to go find a garage.
All right. So we're going to wrap this thing up with Andy's fun little segment here.
This week in sports history.
You should do that with a Carl voice. It would have been so much better.
Carl's voice? I can't even do it right
He didn't even practice it, so it's not there.
Oh, this is no good. We start the week off on a sad note. The death of Dan Rooney, American sports team owner. If you don't know, the Rooney family owned the Pittsburgh Steelers. So
yeah, it's just his team.
kind of a
That's the only reason
sad
we're
day.
talking about it.
Sad day. Earlier this week, or later this week, you'll see a birthday for Charlie Hustle, also known as Pete Rose.
Hey.
That's the most hits in the Major League Baseball ever. That is on April 14th. April 15th, you have Jackie Robinson debuting with the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1947. That's just a small bit of baseball history, if you ask me, being very sarcastic.
Jackie Robinson Day, baby.
Yes, it is. April 16th, 1940, first televised baseball game ever was between the White Sox and the Cubs. I know you're a White Sox fan, so
we might have to wait till 2040 to see another live televised baseball game.
Yeah. We had another one in 1940, Bob Feller, and I'm pretty sure he's kind of an Arkansas-related person. I went to high school with a guy who was related to him, so I'm not sure where Bob was, but he was kind of kin to him somehow, so he said, whatever. Threw a no-hitter on on opening day against the Cubs. Or against Chicago. Might have been the Cubs, might have been the White Sox. I don't know.
It was one of the Chicago.
It's weird.
When was that? 1940? That was probably the.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is the first televised baseball game was during the 16th, but it also said that the Indians threw a no-hitter against Chicago, which if that was the case, it'd be American League, so that would make it the White Sox.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yes.
And later on, that same day, 1947, birthday of one Lou Alcindor. And if you don't know who that is, he is who?
I don't know.
Oh, come on.
I don't know.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Is that who that is?
Yeah.
Okay.
God. Ruining my stuff, you jerk.
I wanted you to feel smart.
No.
No?
No.
Okay. That all you got for this week in sports history?
Man, there wasn't a bunch. I looked for a while to come up with that stuff, and I was like, oh, my God.
We're going to have to find a sounder for this
All
week
I
in
know
sports
is
history.
That one that we're pulling off of, he likes hockey and cricket a whole bunch.
Yeah, we'll have to do some digging for some other stuff somewhere in there.
Yeah, there's bound to be other stuff. But,
I don't know how long this is. Oh,
Is that the
I
right
think
one?
that's the right one. Yeah.
Maybe.
All right. Well, it's been fun. We went down a lot of rabbit holes.
Yes.
I hope you enjoyed watching on YouTube. If you didn't, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Natural State Sports.
Yeah.
We have more content
Find us
coming
on
there.
Twitter. You can find us on Facebook.
Yep. At Steve_NSS.
At Red Thunder 501.
Make sure you like, share, and subscribe this podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe to our pages.
Come listen to the live feed show on Facebook on Friday night.
That's right. Don't miss us. So Thursday night, give you a rundown of what you're looking at. Thursday at 7:30 will be episode 2 of the Sports Junkies. And then Friday night, Andy will make his live show debut on Natural State Sports with Zach at 7 o'clock Friday night.
It's going to get fun.
So you're not going to want to miss it. I think they're going to have like food and
We might have a few
probably
things
make
from a
Will
couple new
mad and have
sponsors.
lots of alcohol on set.
I will do that on purpose. And I'm
you
going
know.
to wear a hat.
Yeah.
So, wearing a hat.
Yep.
Wearing a hat.
So as you see as well, we have a few sponsors that we love to talk about. Of course, Big Jake's, Arkansas Car Clinic, Argenta
Nutrition.
Argenta Nutrition. You guys, if you know of or if you are the owner of a local small business, restaurant, whatever, and you're impacted by this COVID-19, please let us know so that we will create some advertising for you if you're interested at no cost to you and run across all of our platforms. So I know we've got some fun stuff
We've got a
coming up.
lawn care business in the works for one called Grass Whooping Lawn Care.
You should
It's a
just
great
use them
name.
just because of that.
Yeah.
Just
Do
because
you
of
need
that.
your
name.
grass whooped? They will whoop it.
Right? That's perfect all the way around.
Somebody looking to get their grass whooped around here.
All right, man. Well, that's going to
Called
be
grass
it.
whooping.
So make sure to like, share, subscribe, leave us some comments and feedback. Until next week, it's been fun. Woo pig.
Woo pig.